All right, let's forget the price charts for a minute. Today, we're going to take a real pulse check on the Cardano ecosystem. We're going under the hood to see what's actually being built, who's building it, and, where this whole thing is headed. Let's dive right in. So what does a busy blockchain actually look like? It's a great question, isn't it? We hear that word ecosystem thrown around all the time, but what does a healthy, thriving one really look like day to day? We're going to cut through all the market noise and focus on the real, tangible signs of progress.
Well, a healthy ecosystem is really this mix of a bunch of things all happening at the same time. You've got the devs writing code, you've got the community actually using the new apps, and then you've got the big thinkers planning for the long term. Today, we're taking a quick snapshot of all three.
Okay, so first up, the foundational layer, the new financial tools. I like to think of it like building a brand new city. You can't just throw up skyscrapers and hope people show up, right? No, you got to lay the roads, you got to put in the plumbing, all that core infrastructure. And that is exactly what we're seeing in Cardano's DeFi space right now.
A perfect example of this is a project called Pulse, which just went live. They're all about something called yield tokenization. Now, I know it sounds super complicated, but stick with me here because it's a real game changer. Just imagine taking an asset that's earning you yield and being able to split the original asset away from its future earnings. That's the core idea.
So how does this actually work? Well, you supply an asset, and Pulse basically splits it in two. You get a principal token for your original amount and a yield token that represents all the future earnings. And here's the magic part. You can sell that yield token today for cash up front without ever touching your original principal. Now, this is a huge deal because it's the first time this has been done on a UTXO-based blockchain. That's the model Cardano and even Bitcoin use, and it's notoriously tough to build this kind of complex stuff on it. So pulling this off, yeah, that's a massive technical achievement.
And this right here, this is a perfect snapshot of that deep, in-the-weeds work that it takes to build these robust tools. This is a recent update from the Surge Dex team. I mean, look at this. They're working on the whole stack, from the user experience stuff like a hard logout, all the way down to core infrastructure like transaction chaining. This is the kind of stuff you don't always see, but it is absolutely crucial for building a reliable financial system.
And this push for better tools is happening all over the place. You've got Nunet making advanced AI more accessible, Nucast building a really important reputation system for wallets, and then teams like Wingriders and Flux are just making everything faster and easier for developers. Each one is a different piece of the puzzle, right? But they all add up to the same thing, making the entire ecosystem more powerful and way more user-friendly.
So you might be asking, okay, what's the point of all this? What happens when you build all this new infrastructure and all these cool new tools? Well, you get this awesome flywheel effect. It just starts to spin, and that allows for a whole new wave of growth and ambition from the apps built right on top. Just take a look at these two. You have Strike Finance getting their volume tracked on CoinGecko, which is a huge deal for their visibility, by the way, and it's happening right before a big V2 launch. And then you've got Surf, and they're not shy about it. They are openly saying they want to become the largest dApp on Cardano. See? That's what happens when you build a solid foundation. Ambition follows. Okay, so going back to our city analogy, the roads are paved, the plumbing works, so now what? Well, now people start moving in. And that's what this next section is all about, adoption. We're talking about how the ecosystem is reaching beyond the core developers and getting into the hands of real users and even institutions. Let's look at Walkers, for example. This project was just nominated for a Best Blockchain Game Award, which is awesome, and they've already got over 2,000 people actively using the app. You know, in the world of Web3 gaming, that is no joke. It's tough to get people to stick around, so that's a really solid, engaged community right there. And they're not stopping there. Their very next goal is 5,000 users. And I love this because it shows they're focused on real, steady growth. They're in it for the long haul, just building that momentum one user at a time. But hey, adoption isn't just about gaming. Check out this quote from Nuvola. This is a really big deal. Their CEO was invited to talk to the Italian government about a national economic model that's powered by DePIN, or decentralized physical infrastructure. I mean, think about that. We're talking about going from a cool crypto idea to something that could be used at a national level. That's a massive, massive step. And of course, none of this matters without the community, right? And projects like Melting Moons, they really get it. Look at what they did for a Black Friday event. They mixed holder discounts with a 28 cashback on every single mint and threw in giveaways on top. That's super smart.
That's how you get people excited and build a really loyal community from the ground up.
All right, so we've seen the infrastructure being built. We've seen the people moving in. So what's the last piece of the puzzle? It's the high-level vision. This is like the city planning department, the architects drawing up the blueprints for what this whole thing is going to look like in 5 or even 10 years from now.
And a great place to start is with BetFi. They just dropped their Litepaper 2.0, and they are not messing around. They're calling it one of the most important documents in their entire ecosystem. So yeah, this is way more than just a simple product update. It's a major strategic statement. And when you actually look at what's inside, you can see why. They are laying out the whole playbook, from sustainability models and different revenue streams to the nitty-gritty of how their token and NFT holders are going to get rewarded. This is a serious, comprehensive plan. They're thinking about how to make this thing last.
But big picture vision isn't always about financial models. Some teams are thinking even bigger, more fundamentally. Take the team at One Cardano, for instance. They're not just making products, they're literally building an entire system. And what's so fascinating here is the sheer level of structure they've created. They've built this whole internal architecture of 7 master systems. I mean, it covers everything from the founder's focus to how they make decisions, all the way to their content production engine. It's basically a blueprint for how to grow and scale a brand without forgetting who you are. Pretty cool stuff.
Okay, so let's zoom out. We've talked about the infrastructure, we've talked about adoption, and we've talked about that long-term vision. We've seen all these updates from every corner of the ecosystem. So what does it all add up to? What's the big takeaway here?
This right here, this is what real momentum actually looks like. It's not about one flashy headline or some big announcement. It's about seeing all these different fronts moving forward at the same time. You've got the coders deep in the trenches, improving the tech, while at the same time, you have leaders pitching new economic models to governments. That combination of deep tech and high-level vision, all moving in sync, that's the magic.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. With so much activity happening all at once, from brand new financial tools to these huge strategic plans, it's kind of impossible to predict exactly what comes next. The whole system just feels alive, It's constantly evolving. So the real question is, with all these different pieces now in motion, where is that next big breakthrough going to pop up?